/marker Fiend Folio yet again. Alright, we're back and we're playing even more Fiend Folio. At any given moment, the cat could unplug every cord from our computer, but it never, dude, like, there's no solution here, right? Because people are like, this is why I don't let my cat into the office. First off, I love my son, and I would never deprive him of the privilege of being in here. But secondarily, if you try to, like, lock them out, they just try to beat down. Like, you can't win with cats, right? Like, sometimes, like, at night, they make a lot of noise. So we go, okay, you get out of the cords! Oh my god! You could go, the world is your domain, except for the cords. As long as you don't go into the cords, it's you could be anywhere except the cords, man. But anyway, sometimes they make a lot of noise. So we're like, you know what? Get out of our bedroom. And then we close the door. And then they respond by making, like, more frickin' noise. Because they're like, I can't be in the bedroom anymore, which is where I want to be. Okay, well, you know what? You got me on that one. I'm not afraid to admit you got me on that one. So you're like, what can you do? Like, with cats, you just gotta eat it. Like, not eat the cat, obviously. Unless... But you just accept that. Like, whatever the cat wants to do... Like, I think they're discipline proof. I genuinely do not believe you can really discipline a cat to improve its behavior. I think you can discipline a cat, you know, to make yourself feel better. Maybe. I'm not saying you should. But I don't know if you can actually, like, train a cat to, you know, actually, like, modify its behavior. Like, even, you ever see The Cat Whisperer starring Jackson Galaxy? The cat could be, like, biting people's throats out, and, like, the first thing he asks is, like, what did you do to this cat? Oh, I guess it's not that the cat can, like, just be a butthole, right? It's always like, oh, well, there you go. This cat is, it likes to be up high, and your apartment furniture is too low. Okay. I didn't realize that, like, you know, when I bought all this furniture on the box, it didn't say, like, we'll turn your cat into a butthole, you know? Anyway. Like, we were going through it a little bit when, like, Tomo kept urinating on our bed, right? And it's like one of those things where, like, as soon as the cat urinates on your bed, like, they're gonna do it 100 more times because it smells like their urine. Like, even, we use, like, cat odor destroyer, obviously wash the sheets, etc., etc. But even if it has, like, the faintest hint of urine, they're like, oh, this is a toilet now. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? Eventually, like, I don't know, he just stopped, thankfully. But my cat keeps pooping in the shower. That's pretty funny, actually. I've changed the brand of my cat's litter, and that was a mistake. I hear you, like, it's crazy. Anything could just set some off. Now that's a good item for Fiend Folio. Now we're talking. There wasn't anything you did specifically? Literally, like, all of the advice we read online is, like, basically, like, the only thing you can do is clean your sheets like a son of a gun. And then, like, keep them, we keep them out of the bedroom when we're not in there anymore. And that's been enough. It's been, like, I don't know, probably, like, 8 months since we've had an incident, but I think it's, you know, it's very hard to, like, reinforce behavior in cats. I like that. How many hours of how many hours of Isaac are you up to, Playboy? I don't know. I think like 3,600, 3,700, something like that. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for calling me Playboy. Feel cool for the first, like Playboy Carti, right? Like he's a rapper. I couldn't name a song that he's done. Did he do the thong song? I don't know many modern rap songs, I will admit. I listened to Kate had me listen to, believe it or not, Up and WAP by Cardi B. And I was like, you know what? I can kind of get down with these songs. I was like, I get it. It's got a hook. Wireless access protocol. I did think Up was the better of the two songs. That's my review. If you're looking for my review, I think Up was the better of the two songs. But I thought both of them had a certain charm to them. It's, you know, the audacity of the song is part of the appeal, for sure. But also, like, don't you think it's crazy that, like, you know, there's like some vulgar lyrics in those songs, obviously, which is fine. But the most offensive thing about Cardi B, well, that's not true. I guess there is, you know, some incidents in her past. But the second most offensive thing about Cardi B is that she did a guest verse on a Maroon 5 song. Like, does she have no standards? Like, that's the most offensive thing to me in general. Is that she said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get on this Maroon 5 song." I'm sorry, Kate really likes Maroon 5. I'm not trying to get on their case, but I was laughing that Adam Levine from Maroon 5 left he gave a quote in an interview last week that was like, yeah, they just think it's like really sad how there's like no bands anymore. And like it trended on Twitter for like 5 days. People were like, I just don't know what he means. What does he mean? There's no bands anymore. Like, you're in a band for one, but also like what is it, what were you trying to, and also nobody knows who anybody else in your band is except you. Not to be rude, but like, you know, it's not one of those bands where someone else is going to say, like, oh, the bassist name first, you know? Maroon 5 is basically like Adam Levine, you know, and all the rest. Like, it's just weird, man. Just a weird comment. So sad there's no bands anymore, dude. It's just strange comment. These are all bad. These are good but scary. I don't know, probably shouldn't have popped that right now, but... Oh, you talking about Sam Ferrer and the rest of Maroon 5? I always forget that singer's name. I mean, I got nothing against Maroon 5, really. Like, here's what I'll say, alright? And I've said it a few times. I think Adam Levine has an amazing voice. I think he's got an incredible voice. I think he's a good singer. And when This Love came out in like 2004, I was like, I thought that was a catchy song. And then, that's about all I got. I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to Maroon 5, but you know, when they're on at the grocery store, for example, I'm like, you know what? The man, he knows how to sing. He's a good singer. What is happening? I mean, obviously, there's a market out there for bands that are basically like, hey, this guy's just got like a really good voice, which is fine. I'm more like the opposite. I'm like, you know, man, this guy sounds like freaking garbage. Give me some more. Oh yeah, clap your hands, say yeah. Came out with a new album. Let's see what these little freaks are up to. Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to delete it. Oh, no. Just love calling people freaks, man. As long as they're in on the joke. As long as it's meant as like a positive thing. If like Justin, if you're still here, if you called me a freak, if you were like, oh, you're a little freak, I'd be like, thank you. We're taking ownership, you know? Do you listen to LCD Sound System? I absolutely listen to LCD Sound System. You got me figured out, honestly. It's not like I'm the only person on Earth. I mean, it's a great band. Possibly my favorite band of the of 2000 to 2010. Let's put it. I mean, I know he's still making music, but do you have an LCD sound system? Do you come with the car? Oh, you. Always like a Tears upgrade. I've been listening to some more Fleet Foxes. I'm telling you, I've had, you know, I've been listening to more YouTube music. Occasionally on my recommendations, some Fleet Foxes shows up there. And I'm like, you know what? I think I kind of wrote them off when they were new. Because I was like, oh, their voices are too good. I don't listen to accessible stuff like this. I only listen to Lou Reed's Metal Machine music. And now I'm like, you know what? They got some... look at this harmony is just nice to listen to. Just, you know, it wouldn't set my watch to it necessarily, but you could. You could. Golden poop bombs. Tinted Rock. Thank you, thank you. The Chain by Fleetwood Mac is solid. Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking. Oh, I mean, now we're talking. I mean, we were talking about LCD sound system before. I was having a good time, but now we are talking, man. Steely Dan, now we're talking. Give me a rear. We don't need HP. HP is for losers and accountants. It's an ancient quote. NL, have you seen that video of the woman saying microwave wrong? It's a classic. I have to tell you, I don't believe that I've ever seen this fabled video you're talking about here. Video where a woman says she says microwaves wrong. She says it wrong on purpose. Microwave. I haven't seen the video, but I'm liking where this is going so far. Oh, it's Nigella Lawson? Oh, she's a little freak. I'll never forget, I only have one Nigella Lawson-based anecdote. I was at my friend's house watching the Food Network, and she was like, we're gonna make bread pudding. I've heard of bread pudding before. I didn't know what it was. She made like 17 sandwiches and then just put them in the oven, and I was like, what the... You're telling me bread pudding is just a bunch of like baked sandwiches? It shattered my worldview of what desserts were. No, I was not under the influence of anything. I wasn't straight edge by like choice. I was straight edge by I don't know, convenience in high school. It wasn't until my second week in the dorms that I was corrupted by one of the people on my floor that was like, hey, check it out. I have like amaretto and Fireball, and if you mix them together, it tastes just like Dr. Pepper. And I was like, what? No way. And then from that one fateful sip, it's been it's never been the same ever since. Sipping rum Malibu, we call it Malibu, All right, I'll take it. You ever see Extreme Cheapskates? It's the show about frugal people. I watched a woman make a lasagna in her dishwasher. I love just this journey that you've sent me on here. Because in my head, I'm like, what the heck did she... How much money do you save making lasagna in your dishwasher instead of the oven? Well, I guess maybe she could wash some dishes at the same time that she cooked the lasagna. Oh, man. I watched when the baby was first born, and you're waking up at 4 in the morning some mornings. The TV networks are not putting their best stuff on the air at 4 in the morning. I watched a lot of extreme couponing, and eventually it just sort of like it started to piss me off. Like, there was one couple where like the husband was studying for like law school, and he had been isolated in like one little tiny corner of the apartment because everything else had been taken over by like IKEA shelves stuffed with Ritz crackers and stuff like that. And then one day his wife was just like, or his girlfriend was like, hey, I'm gonna need you to like move your office down to the basement because I got more shelves coming in. And he was just like, yes, dear. And I was like, lady, your relentless pursuit of the deal is gonna lose you your relationship with this very understanding man. Like, time for your dick flattening. Yes, dear. This is like, it's like how you know that it goes from being like a hobby to like an obsession. I can't even imagine, man. Kate was like, hey, you know where you do all your studying? So, like, you can eventually provide for this family? We're gonna keep a bunch of, like, Cheese Whiz jars there, so I'm gonna need you to go down to the basement. Just one question. Why can't the Cheese Whiz go in the basement? What'd you say to me? Sorry, I forget I asked. Anyway, it was probably like a little made up for the show, for sure. Like a little exaggerated, but still, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, the extreme couponing stuff, I always feel like they always add in like a little part at the end of extreme couponing where they're like, and then we donated all this stuff to the church. And I think they only do that to like, I mean, this is my own cynicism, but I think it's, they do that so they're, like, above criticism. They're like, yeah, I might be a, like, sick little freak, but we're donating lots of hot dog buns to the local parish. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, look, I'm not saying that it means you're above criticism, but it doesn't make you, like, it's a nice thing to do rather than just, like, let it rot or whatever. I do like that Justin tweet. I can't say it. Google DeepMind will be upset with me. I also like, dude, I don't know, and again, this is, because I mentioned this before, somebody got on my case on Twitter, and then, I don't know, we made up with one another or whatever, but, I went off on extreme couponing, because I think everybody on the show was kind of like a little bit selfish, quite frankly, and then, I get that it's easy to misconstrue it as, like, I'm punching down at people who, like, need to do this stuff to eat. But most of the people on the show are not in that boat. Most of them are, like, solidly middle class, but they're like, check it out, dude. I can get, like, 12 boxes of Oreos for negative 10 cents. It always takes, like, 4 hours to check out on that show. And I'm like, I just feel bad for the cashier. That's what it comes down to. Is anytime I watch the show, I just feel bad for the person that's ringing them up. Because not only are you there forever ringing them up, I mean, you're probably going to be there regardless, but lots of times they, like, line up right as the store's about to close, and then they have to stay there for, like, an extra few hours. But then you got to ring the stuff up in, like, exactly the right order. Otherwise, like, the coupons might get sequence broke, and then, like, so many times they're like, oh, the system broke because they only allow you to scan like 128 coupons per customer. So they have to like go back and like manually start ringing it up from zero and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god. I'm just saying, you better film yourself eating all of that damn spaghetti. Otherwise, I'd be like, unless you're gonna send me a photo of you eating this spaghetti, I'm walking off the job right here. And you know, like, if the camera's off and that thing comes up, like, as, you know, they're getting $600 of merch, they thought it was gonna be $850. If it comes up like $1075, that camera was off, you're getting a freaking earful. It's true. It's probably more cost efficient for the store when you see someone like that coming in. Just be like, nah, man. Like, just take it. Just take the carts out to your car. You're gonna pay $20 for $500 worth of merchandise, and it's gonna cost me another $200 to get the staff necessary in order to ring you through without ruining the store for all of our other patrons. Like, just leave. Just take it and go. But I think they would be like, no, I won't take it and go. I did all of the planning in advance. They get like a freaking high off it, man. They go nuclear. I'm telling you, it's like Magic the Gathering for like Midwestern suburban parents. It's literally like the exact same kind of energy. It's like, and then this coupon combos off of the Nabisco cracker sandwiches, which combos into this, and you're just like, oh my god, what did I do to deserve this, right? Like, it's a universal human emotion is to get the big brain pop off like that. Blue deck coupon player. This is my Nabisco infinite combo coupon deck. It's one heck of a room, man. Anyway, I forgot like entirely what I was talking about, but it's true. I have used the coupon before. Somebody asked, like, so in our HelloFresh, we used to get, occasionally there would be like a Starbucks coupon that was like, hey, if you bring this to the grocery store, good one, you can get like 2 liters of Starbucks cold brew for free. And I was like, I was always hesitant to use the coupon, but then Kate was like, just do it. She called me a P word, and I said, all right, let's do it. Then I took it to the grocery store, and it was like my peak social anxiety nightmare came true, where the cashier was like, I don't know what this is. And I was like, oh, it's a coupon for like this coffee that I brought up to the front. And then he's like, I don't know what to do with this. And we both just kind of like stood there silently for about 10 seconds. And then he called someone over and was like, yeah, what do we do with this? And they're like, oh, I've never seen one of these. And I was like, yeah, it's a coupon for this coffee that I got right here. And then she was like, well, okay, I guess like we'll honor it. And then like, then he had to get a pen because he had to like fill out a bunch of like metadata on the back of the coupon or whatever. But he didn't have a pen at his cash register, so we had to like go into the back office. Like it took me like 10 minutes to cash out here, and I was just like, I mean, I thought about apologizing to the people behind me, but I was like, this isn't my problem, man. It's not my fault. I mean, he should have a pen, quite frankly. If you don't accept coupons, you know, just be like, oh, we don't accept coupons at our store. I mean, some people would probably be upset by that for sure. I'd be like, ah, you know what, fair enough. Can you put all this stuff back for me? I'm going to go to a store that respects their customers. Come on, man. The dishwasher lady also removes the skin, stem, and seeds from her fruit before paying at the grocery store. All told, it saves her $3 per trip. Okay, now I'm mad. Like, now I'm actually upset. That's too far. That's freaking crazy, man. I do sometimes. I like when you go Whole Foods and you get the hot bar and they've got bone-in chicken. I've watched people in front of me strip the bone with the little tongue. They strip the bone out of the chicken and then just put the meat in the container. And I get a little annoyed, mostly because I understand you're saving some money, but also at the same time, you are making it take like 5 times longer for me to get the dinner, and then at the end of it, like it's literally the hot plate is just 99% sauced up chicken bones. But like, at least that, like, I almost can understand. But like, this lady's taking the freaking seeds out of her peppers and stuff like that in the grocery store. That's crazy, man. I've told this story before, but there was like a human interest story. You know, like all those human interest stories of like, how I afforded a house at 25. Like eventually they're like, say the line, Bard, and it's like, and I got a loan from my mom and dad. And everyone is like, yeah, no kidding. That's like what this article was like. It was a human interest story in Vancouver, and it was about this family that was like bragging that they only made like 3 bags of garbage in an entire calendar year. And I read the story because I was like, oh, I wonder how they did that. Like, that's crazy. What a commitment to like environmentalism. And then it turns out that when they went to the grocery store, they just ripped open all the packages and then gave it to the grocery store. And we're like, oh, we don't want this. We'll just take like all the food like loose. So they basically created the same amount of garbage. They just absolved themselves of the responsibility from some of it. Like, it's like you didn't make less garbage, you just had somebody else throw it out for you, you a-hole. And yeah, and then like made everybody's life a lot harder, including yours. This lady only has 1 light bulb in her house that she moves from room to room. That's like, okay, come on, like, that's just I think I would rather be dead. I think I would rather be dead. Maybe my will to live is not as strong as hers, but I think at that point I would rather just die. Yeah, does that even save you money? Like, if you bought 10 light bulbs, wouldn't each light bulb last 10 times longer than the 1 light bulb that you're using for everything? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Yeah, plus, and at that point, why doesn't she just do all of her work by, like, by the light of the sun or something like that? I don't know, man. That's just, like... I have seen, like, some of those extreme cheapskate shows where, like... like, people would... take 2-ply toilet paper and use, like, tweezers to separate the 2-ply in the 1-ply, and I'm like... I mean, so you're just, like, without being, I guess, insanely rude, please let me out of this cursed room. Like, you're basically just saying your time is worth literally nothing. Okay, like, as long as we're starting from there, then I understand. But as soon as you're like, okay, now the toilet paper is half the price. The toilet paper is half the price. I spent 17 hours separating the 2-ply into 1-ply and probably damaged like 35% of the product in the process, but it cost half as much. But, like, frugality is fine, don't get me wrong. Even admirable. Even if frugality annoys me sometimes because it's the lens that, like, every decision is examined through on Twitch. So if you're ever like, oh, I paid, like, $6 for lunch, people are like, that's crazy. If you, just ordered imported beans from Guatemala in a 100 kilogram sack, you could take your, like, per meal cost down to, 14 cents. But, there's admiration that I have without a doubt for for frugality, but some of it is just ridiculous. Like Kate told me about a guy she knows that he reuses his tea bags, and I was like, you know what? That's not so bad. I could see that, like, your tea bags are pretty cheap, but you're probably, like, that second tea bag, probably almost as good as the first one. But unscrew it, soup ingredients. Okay, sure. Unscrew. Is this a banter engine? Like it's giving me topics? Soup ingredients. But like unscrewing a light bulb every single time you want to move room to room, like that's asinine. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about stuff like that. That's too much. Save the planet by using your bong water to boil spaghetti. There you go. Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with reusing a tea bag one time, for sure. I don't drink tea, so I don't have too many opinions on it, but I used to do the opposite. In college, I thought I was hard, right? I would put like 2 tea bags in the same glass and then fill it up with hot water. And I'd be like, oh, it's gonna be a long day. I need twice the tea caffeine. But I'm pretty sure like the solubility of the water would not allow any more tea to actually get into the water to begin with. But I did it anyway, man. I don't care freaking who knows it. Want a sip? Yeah. Pink fizzy liquid. Hey kid, you want a swig? Anyway, that's all I got. You can be frugal, nothing wrong with being frugal, just, I don't think anybody gets mad at frugality. It's only when frugal people who take it, like, beyond, absurdity, then will hit you with, like you're some kind of, like, Russian oligarch or something like that. They're like, oh, you use barbecue sauce, huh? You put barbecue sauce on that? Like, you got the barbecue sauce. It's okay. You got the barbecue sauce from, like, a dumpster or something, right? You're like, no, yo, you bought it at the store? Are you crazy? Dude, I can't believe it. What did I tell you? I made a promise, Master Wayne. I made a promise that once we beat that challenge in Fiend Folio, we would never lose ever again. And it's happening, man. You didn't fill the bottle with 17 barbecue sauce packets from McDonald's? Exactly. I will say, but if you're, in post-COVID, post one round of vaccines, Garcon, if you go to your university cafeteria, I fully support. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. For the purposes of this bit, this is satire. This is satirical, but I believe it. Maybe you should bring a 2-liter Nalgene and fill up on fountain drinks. For sure. For sure. Hypothetically. You realize that if you pay out of pocket for the meals in the dining hall, it's like $16 a meal. And they're feeding you like army rations. They're feeding you, they don't use the real shrimps. They use the little shrimps. It's not real chicken. There's no skin anywhere on the chicken. It's just white cubes. You are worth it. You owe it to yourself to fill up a 2-liter Nalgene with cranberry juice, okay? Either you or your parents are probably paying like $3,500 a semester for your meal plan or something like that. You're worth it, hypothetically.